Hello and welcome to the Faith Building Podcast, episode 43, with your amazing and so lovely hosts, Vladi Kuna.
And Norman Gräter. Hi.
Hello. Today's topic is Back to the Future. We talk about Terminator, not about Terminator the movie, but about AI. And if AI is a good thing or an evil thing or something in between, if it helps, if it leads us into the future, or if it destroys our future as human beings, as Vladi already touched in the last episode towards the end. We both were discussing AI, and I, from my point of view, and Vladi, things alike, some things are ridiculous. Let's take, for instance, Facebook. Your AI creates the article that you write. Then my AI would respond to Vladi's AI article on Facebook, and Vladi's AI responds to my response, like not mine, but my AI's response of my AI agent, which means the computers speak to each other. And the question that arose out of that is then at the end of the day, who will read this stuff? If a computer writes the article, and a computer answers to the article, and a computer answers to the answer of the answer, it's like the computer talks to itself. Why should we humans watch? And I know different sites like AI could help us a lot, and whoever used ChatGPT or AI agents or other tools, we all know it helps really, really a lot. It saves a lot of time. And on the other side, what does it destroy? It destroys our creativity because you don't think about what you write anymore. You don't think about how you could create a picture anymore or how to create a slogan anymore. You don't think about it. And the question is, how do you use the time that you gained? Like while ChatGPT writes your article, it does not take you 30 minutes like months or years before. It's done in 1 minute, and ChatGPT writes the article. What are you doing with the saved 29 minutes? And if you do something valuable, like you interact with other humans or you take time for yourself, work on your self-love, in my mind, that's a good thing. If you use the time to watch other people's lives, like you scroll through Facebook and through Instagram and TikTok and you say, oh, I have more time to look at other people's lives, you become more stupid by the day. And it is just a fact. I mean, there's a big difference between people that read books and others that do not read books, or people that study and do not study. It has to do with your brain and the development of your brain, and not the IQ itself to say, okay, you turn into something stupid. But like if you don't drive on a highway, if you don't walk a path through the woods, then the bushes and whatever is in the woods will just take over this path. And the same is with your brain. If you're so involved in other people's lives and scrolling and pushing and whooshing and doing whatever you do on all those social medias, what do you have to do? You're just consuming. And some people even say that's the idea behind AI, that humans get more and more stupid because they can be easily led. But probably that's a topic for something totally different. And we stick to our regular AI and human topic for the moment. What do you think, Vladi?
You know, I have to say, I'm going to start with this sentence. It amazes me how many people these days say how they proudly announce in businesses and private, my AI knows me by now. You know, like it knows how I feel and how I works. Are people listening to themselves, and are they thinking we're disconnecting as a humanity? We're completely losing connection. You watch the young guys sitting next to each other and they know how to text each other, but they can't say words to each other. And then we're worrying as a parents about, oh, you know, like I wish my child was more confident. Social skills. AI is replacing, and I'm going to start with all the way to the end. So I am not a huge fan. However, we are in the business. We do use it. We use it as a tool. I'm very careful how I use it. I think it's a great tool. It can help a lot, and it can scrape time that humans can't even, you know, it takes us a very long time to get somewhere. As long as it doesn't replace the creativity, like Norman says. I like to throw, obviously, English is still not my first language, although I've lived here for 27 years. So, you know, but I do like asking AI to check my British English and put it in a professional format. However, I created it. So if we, end of the interview I did with Neil Donald Walsh, And I've asked him, what is the biggest problem in the world? And I love his answer. He said it's disconnection and alienation. If you look at war or pandemic or whatever it is, what is the main purpose for whatever is happening is people get disconnected. People separate. And the strength comes in love, right? There's nothing but love. And if we come from this knowing that there is love and us as a humanity rise together and have to stay together, what we're doing every day, we're disconnecting. We're focusing more, and I go to last week's episode, we're focusing more whether I have 100,000 followers instead of whether I've made a difference to 2 people this week. We become this, it's an obsession, unhealthy obsession about the quantity over quality. And these statements, my AI knows me by now. I mean, isn't that scary? If you think about people who created AI, find them. Don't take my word for it. Go and search it. They are warning us that AI is dangerous. How it can figure out things. Look at ChatGPT, what it was able to do 2 years ago and what it can do now. Then again, I know that we created it ourselves and we're creating tools which actually help in many instances, but like everything else in this life, we misuse it in places where it shouldn't be used. So it's not necessarily that it's an evil thing, but it's the way we as humans choose to use it and stop focusing on what really is important in life. And it goes to school system too. And I'll hand it to you because this is a long topic I could talk about, but look at what they're doing to kids. Handwriting creates thinking. So we took it away because it's typing, not the same frequency where the handwriting and typing is. So why were we as a humans growing, like people were really, really growing and smart because they were writing, they were reading. Now school makes kids to read on their screens with all these negative effects for their eyes and the LED lights we have every day and the screens. Where are they going to end up? The problem is we don't see this until in 10 years it all becomes a massive problem, and then it's way too late to stop these things. I'll throw it back to you, Norm.
It is. I totally agree. And it does not get any better. So what we would suggest, we don't want to say it's good or bad. It has good and bad side. And it's again, how do you look at it? How do you use it? Still in this very interesting time of this planet and this 2025-ish theme, can you focus more on what Vladi shared in the last episode on self-love and what you would really love? Because if we play this game with AI a little bit forward, and the prognosis for the next 10 years is pretty easy, everybody of us will have more than one AI agent, which means it's kind of a personal assistant. It's in your phone. But as Facebook or Meta and Ray-Ban just worked together, they brought out the first version of the Glass, like Google Glass. Who knows Google Glass? Many years ago, they started it. The AI agent is currently on your phone, on your device, on your computer, but at one point it will move to the Glass. And like I said, Meta and Ray-Ban worked together to create a Glass. I saw it the other day, where you can have everything inside of your glass. So it will save us a lot of time. It will stop us from researching the internet on booking.com and HRS and Amazon and stuff. You just tell your AI agent, order me this book in the cheapest version, in the fastest way, whatever you like. And the AI agent goes to the internet, finds the solution and gets it to you. This also leads us to robotic, because robots are coming more and human robots, and they look like us. And it's not about the Terminator thing. It's just that robots are coming and supporting and doing in many factories jobs that we don't want to do anymore, which leads us to the point where at one point we will not work 5 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day. Maybe we only work 2 days a week with 4 hours a week. And this brings us a lot of time that we get. And besides all the social media and the AI and the robotics and stuff, how are you going to use this time, as Vladi mentioned earlier, to become united again as a humankind, to say we spend more time with friends, with family? This would be great. But if the kids only write to themselves, even sitting next to each other, if they don't use the phone, if they don't speak, if they don't just go over and ring the doorbell and sees my friend over there, and if not, I go back home again, everything is so digital, we might run into a big issue. Because if you don't use the internet in the future to search things, because your AI agent is doing that, how do you use the time? And of course, then drugs, alcohol, other addictions are very, very close by, because you just don't know how to handle your life. You don't know how to handle the thoughts in your mind, the wild thoughts, the fears that are drawn majorly by the media. I mean, who controls the media has the power of the world. It's not the oil, it's not the food, it's not the gas, it's not the water. The biggest institution to rule basically the world is the media, as long as we keep watching and listening and reading it and getting addicted to this supposedly negative world. I mean, if I look outside, everything is very peaceful and nice. I don't see any bad things happening. Can I focus more on the good things? Which brings us back to, can I focus more on me? What moves my heart, what brings my heart forward, what connects me to other people? Can you already start building relationships? Because if you don't start now where you still have time, you won't have them. It's the same if you retire and you worked your whole life through, you never had hobbies, you never had friends. Yeah, with 65, 68, whatever time most people kind of retire, who should be waiting for you? You need to build that stuff. So start building stuff that are really dear to your heart, that make your heart and your soul jump, and have the faith that everything will be good at the end, because there's no good and bad. It's only where you put your focus on. So put on your blue glasses, go and look into a brighter future, and make sure that you keep the human touch and the unity amongst each other.
I have to jump to how we see how much time it saves us and can make us more money and stuff, and how we choose that over real connections. Because think about it differently. Do you prefer to be served by a human, or do you prefer to be served by AI? I cannot tell you how many times you purchase something, or there is an issue, and you try and call the services and want to solve your issue for the service you paid as a customer. And the endless amount of numbers you have to press, and it kept putting you and record you, and now it's ask you this ridiculous, like, please repeat your request. And if you're not saying it in a certain tone or accent or anything, you actually give up and rather lose the money, because what you're losing is the most precious commodity you have, which is time. And we're spending endless amount with dealing with robots and press 1 and press 2, and instead of sitting around the fire, I mean, this is how I grew up, sitting around with the fire and with friends, talking. When you can actually I was rock climbing without my friends a couple of weeks ago. I miss those moments where I wish I had more of them in a moment, the moments where you just sit and you can just be. You can talk, you can say things you can understand. But when you look at it, like Norman's saying, the conversations the young people have, they can't even communicate. They can't even express themselves through it, because you can't experience life through a screen. But more and more of this is happening, and we are so proud of it, until it reaches the point where all of a sudden something happens to us that we don't like. And now we pay attention, because everything's not about us. We should really, everything we do, the live and how much AI or human touch we're using, it's a personal choice. And, I really don't like the excuses where people say, oh, but I have to do it because I'm at work. And, I'm working for these people and I have to buy this car. And it's just, I'm going to get more funds from government because if I buy electric cars, it's going to give me, but people don't really pay attention to the whole scale of things. Where are all the batteries from the electric cars going? Where is all this going to go? They're going to be dumped in the sea? Because that is a bigger problem than actually the oil. And we always, like Norman said, the media controls so much what you can see. And they say, oh, it's a free world, right? We live in a democracy and you can say whatever you want. And then they shut down your account because you said something they don't like. So where is the democracy? People don't pay attention to things that really, truly matters. And what is that? Awakening and really start controlling your mind. Because if you learn who you are and how much you can control in your world, you will start seeing things differently and responding instead of reacting, and don't buy into things which people just see the advertisement. And this is with the kids as well. Who creates the ads? AI. So what does AI do? What is the most desired thing? It's got nothing to do with the human soul connection. Would you rather spend a good time with the friends when you're laughing over the fire and having a glass of wine or water, whatever you prefer, and just maybe being a tent? I mean, those are the best moments I have, even with the kids and friends, you know, like hanging on the rocks and feeling the nature instead of sitting drained in the office hours and hours a day where you just glued to the screen. What would you really love? And people say, oh, I have to feed my family. And that's an excuse. Yes, it's true. Don't get me wrong. It is true. But how we choose to do it, that is down to us. And then we can't actually blame anything in the future because we are causing what's going to be effect in 10 years. It's our decisions right now, and ignoring it, oh, it won't happen. It won't. Wishful thinking. Or really paying attention and researching and paying attention to what's happening and what can we do today to prevent anything bad happening in the future. And you know, lots of people actually in the past, they died. I mean, I'm going years and hundreds of years ago. They died for the truth, but only that helped us to believe certain things and live the good lives. So there's always these people who truly care and those who just, there's so much ego-driven sort of mindset these days. And it's sad. It really is sad. It's not about you not following your dream, not using AI. It doesn't mean that you're using a ChatGPT, you're a mean person. What we're trying to really tell you guys is how are you using the things, and you're adding to the larger scale of things. So pay attention. What is it, everything you're doing for whose benefit? Because we should really serve and take us out of the equation. We're not hit for us. What are we doing? How are we serving? And what are we helping people to do? But it's not about us. It's about others. So if we're doing everything just to have more money and get some funds from benefits, if I get the electric car, it's all personal benefit. But how does it help others on a larger scale? Back to you, Noam.
Yes, and it's also about manifestation. If we outsource our thinking to AI more and more and more, we take out the most important part to manifest new things. Why? Because thinking is the first thing, to have an idea, to have an inspiration about something. This triggers an emotion. The emotion leads you into action. The action leads to a result. And if you outsource the first part, the thinking, it does not even trigger an emotion, because you ask AI to write an article, but does this article really trigger your emotion? Probably you think, oh, that's written in a very good way. But if it's done every day, you lose the emotion about it, and you just take it and you throw it out, and that's the action, and the result could be very beneficial in regards of having more money or having more success, or what you said earlier, having more followers. Still, isn't it all about that we are all one? And what Vladi mentioned in the beginning, rather than having 10,000 followers, isn't it nicer if you say, I opened the door for one more person, I helped another person, I inspired another person. I received an email the other day where the gentleman wrote he wanted to thank me very much. The 2 words, that's good, about my story and the glasses and everything, really changed his perspective, and he has such a better life due to 2 words. And I think it's very kind that he shared that with me. Not that I feel much better and that I need the appreciation and the applause. Like Wayne Dyer said, I like the applause. I like when people buy my books. But I'm not doing that they do it. He also said, if you're an author and if you say, oh, how do I become successful? How do I write a masterpiece? You're coming from the ego side. And if you put shit in, shit can only come out. You might get an ego product back, but where does it lead you to? And this is why so many great artists are addicted to whatever they are addicted to. If you played Wembley Stadium 10 times in a row, sold out, I mean, how much bigger can you get? There is no more goal that you have. And if you outsource everything to AI, there's no more bigger goal that you have, because AI solves everything for you. Which means you totally draw back with your emotion. And if you then don't put the emotion, if it's next to a fireplace or next to friends or going out for dinner, if you don't put this emotion or draw this emotion out of human connections, you might get very dead inside. You stop feeling stuff, you turn more into the robot kind of. You're just punching in those comments for Chat GPT and the prompts and whatever that is called. That's the only thing you do. But nothing really makes your heart jump anymore. And for the spiritual people in our room, you know that manifestation is not done by the thinking itself, but by the feeling you draw out of it. And if you don't come back to the feeling and you create things that make you feel good, or where you focus on how can I feel much better right now about myself, about my surrounding, my world, instead of photoshopping my picture that it's out on Instagram and that I look like the most beautiful person, but I'm afraid to go out in real life because I am not that person and people might see that, so I hide in the basement. Is that really what life is all about? I don't think so. And I'm being reminded by a story, and I think I have written it even in my book, I'm Greater, where you can imagine you're going to the end of your life. And you leave this earth, you leave this planet, you end up in heaven on a cloud, and you meet your archangel, and he says, welcome back home, how was vacation? And you look at him and say, excuse me, what do you mean vacation? I was not on vacation, I was on earth. And he said, yes. But you were on vacation, right? You wanted to take a lifetime vacation before you play, now for the next 5,000 years, the hallelujah for the boss. And you think, vacation? Should I have done nothing on this earth? Was this the goal? And he said, no. The idea how we see vacation in heaven is you do something that you really love. Point number one. And you think, it's almost like vacation. I do stuff that I love in my vacation. You go to a place where you really like to be. And you think again, oh, it's like vacation. I go to places where I like to be. And third, you spend your time with things that you like and places you like being, with people that you like having around. And you think again, it's almost like vacation. I only go on vacation with people that I like. If we break it down, could it be that life is just about those three things? What do you love? Where do you love to be? And can you spend more time with the people that are aligned with you, that you love, that give you a good feeling? Maybe this is what life is all about. And probably AI puts us away in a different direction, or on the other side, AI puts us in a place where we have more time for exactly that. And it's what we talked about earlier. You have the choice. You have the choice to say, it's a great help that I have more time for myself, to spend more time with people I like, at places that I like, and things that I like to do or be. Or you say, no, I use it just to make more money and get more into the rat race and the hamster's wheel and more, and I need to be seen more and heard more and respected more and more. So again, there's no right, there's no wrong. You choose every second how you decide. And I give it back to Vladi to wrap up our call today.
You know, I see so many people, and especially youth, the inner confidence and self-esteem is so low. And the reason being, when you think about how much we have and the opportunities and stuff, because half of the stuff or majority of the stuff on the social media is not even true. Like Norman said, it's AI created. We don't talk about vulnerability. I mean, some people do, but genuinely, it's all about this perfection. There isn't such a thing as perfection. It's only progress. We can never reach perfection. It's just the law. You know, it's the stories online, and then people live different lives behind the scenes. It's split. Do your own people recognize the person who's online? It doesn't matter. I've hired a photographer and I have the best pictures ever by the sea and I love using them all the time, but it's still me. And when she was creating them, who are you? I love rocks and on the being in the nature. But the truth is, for this new generation, so we need to take a responsibility for this. They watching all these people, they're comparing themselves because they haven't learned like us in this life that I don't really care. You know, I know who I am and I don't compare myself with someone else, but it takes time to reach that. So all these people look at all these flashy and holidays and they feel less worthy. They feel I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't have enough money to do these things and my parents never take me here. And the whole humanity, where is the kindness and love? And like Norman was saying, instead of reaching 1,000 followers, what if we were kind to someone every day for the next 30 days? Like stranger. I'm not even talking, obviously, be kind to everyone around you anyway, but just consciously choose to do something. I've chosen to say good morning and wish a great day to 3 people every day for next, I think I said 90 days.
Even better.
Well, like 3 days ago. But the thing is, choose to do something that helps you to brighten somebody else's day, and it helps you to be accountable too. Because, you know, you have to remember all these things. And like Norman said, we have so much more time with using some of these tools. And yet we choose to take that time and spend it on more social media, more. It's almost like we don't have enough. Where is the grounding where we just say, okay, hold on a second. Am I happy? Is everything working out in the great order for my highest good? Or am I kind, compassionate, caring? Those things are more important than am I producing things faster and making more money? And that's where we need to switch really to, yes, we do need money to live. Of course, money is energy as well, and we need to pay for things. And the more money you have, the greater life you can have if you so choose. Not necessarily. Money doesn't bring you happiness. But human connections, having people around you, you know, you build these amazing mansions and when we're talking about materialistic, robotic world and the real spiritual world, who are you going to enjoy all this wealth with when there's no one? Who's going to bring you coffee when you're sick? And who's going to help you to take care of you or come and see you in a hospital? Those are the questions we need to say. Who is in your life? You can actually pick up the call and you can call them, I am in shit, and they are going to be there. Is that going to be your AI saying, oh, let me sort out the story for you. I know you very well, so let me give you some tips what you could do. And you're going to be happy with that prompt that it's going to give you? I don't think so. And there will be time where we won't be able to access it. So really, my final thing is focus on human connection. Use the tools that were given to us. They are great tools and they can help us, you know, like they do help us but not in every area of the life and not in every industry. Some industries, really amazing to have an AI and robots, but we are using them across industries where we need to use our love, our heart, our caring, our connection, because when you enter that hotel, you don't want a robot to tell you, there is your room, there's your key, go if you go. You want someone to hug you and say to you, don't worry, tomorrow's a new day and you will be better. You know, you want that kind of human connection that can be there when you're down. They will make you smile because AI cannot do that.
Closing statement. So again, there's no right, no wrong. Just make up your mind, stay thinking, stay feeling, and just enjoy the human touch and make sure that you know what you would do with the more time you will gain in the future, instead of wasting it on getting more followers that will not hug you, that will not be there for you, that will not call you when you're sick. They might write you a million messages, but at the end of the day, they don't write it to you. Their AI agent writes it to you, so they don't even know that you are sick. And therefore, choose wise, because your life is depending on it. Until next week, and all the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.